controls the information. What we see and hear, how we work, what we think, it's all about the information.
You want a war? You got a war. And there's no looking back. There's no forgetting. And there's no forgiving. I can see it all clearly now. The more we build, the more haters try to tear it down. The more we build. Now you listen to me. All of you. You hoodlums don't own these streets. We got an army that sees these.
That's right. We got an army you can see and an army you don't know nothing about.
We got an army you can see.
This is Covert Radio, and this is brutally honest, fearlessly unapologetic talk radio. Covert Radio is delivering the highest level of discerning insight into events, people, and the contrived lies of the demented tide. This is talk radio format, and we got a lot of stuff to get to here. On the screen, you can see the Covert Radio Tribunal, which is the Covert Radio Patreon. At the highest level, gives you access to Covert Radio on the private Covert Radio Discord. The song we were just listening to here, old school track written by yours truly, Covert Radio. It's stripped down a little bit. It's called Bruza Testuja, and that means the storm is coming. The storm has come. So this is going to be sort of a kind of throwback, I guess you would say, for Covert Radio, because I don't talk a lot about a lot of things that I used to talk about, and there's reasons for that. Primarily, I always feel like there's people that are already out there that are, pretty well versed into what's happening, and they got their finger on the pulse, and and I don't want to be involved in some echo chamber algorithmic type situation. And not to mention, what I do is specialized. It's definitely targeted for a very specific audience, and every once in a while I'll do something that I feel, is on my heart, or I feel a little bit passionate about. But tons of those videos have been taken down over the years from Covert Radio. A lot of the things through the pandemic, and even prior to that, and politics, and a lot of esoteric information. Again, there's a lot of people out on the internet that do it better, but at the same time, I know I've brought in my fair share of groundbreaking insight into a lot of events, a lot of people, a lot of situations. And, I actually lost track how many videos were taken down. I've lost this channel at least twice that I can remember. I mean, it's been almost 10 years that we've been doing videos. So lost subs, gained subs, I have other channels, don't get it twisted, but this is going to be kind of a throwback. I promise you, in this video, you're going to learn some things. This is stuff you probably have never heard. Some of this, I guarantee you, it's stuff you've never heard. It's going to be my insight into a guy named Nathan Stolpman. It's Lift the Veil, which he has been a truth sayer, a veteran in this war of information, this spiritual war. And, that's like this track in the beginning is kind of like a little shout out to him because, there's a world friend, a world war. And it's not about who's got the most bullets. It's about who controls the information, what we see, what we hear, how we learn, what we think. It's all about the information, right? So, and Nathan, again, is a truth sayer. I've watched Nathan for many, many, many years. I think one of the recent times I mentioned him, I think I said 10 years. It may be slightly longer than that. I mean, it's just so odd, man. It's so odd to kind of like keep everything in perspective because I know at least one of the videos I'm going to show you guys here is at least 8 years old. And I know I was listening to him much prior to this. So it could be 15 years. I don't know. I'm not good with stuff like that, like exact numbers and everything. I am going to say this, though. Give me 5 minutes. If you like what you hear, give me 5 minutes more. This is nothing you have to stare at your screen with. Again, this is radio format. What you do is you put Covert Radio on and you go about with what you were doing. You can drive. You can work outside. You can be on your riding mower right now, cutting the grass. I don't know, gardening or, doing a myriad of things. If I need you to look at the screen, I will say, please take a look at your screen. I'll also say this too. I have a video lined up. Speaking of cutting grass. I mean, because, I don't know how much of Hoax Wars is going to be brought into this. I don't know how much of Owen Benjamin is going to be brought into this, but because I don't want to take away from the information I have to share about Nathan and my perspective and with these evil witches led by Hoax Wars. Honestly, this is a coven. And I just don't care. A lot of you people have no idea who Hoax Wars is. And I don't mean his docs and who I'm talking about his history on the internet, what he's been involved with, the circles he's been in. And now he's migrated over to this catcher community. It is one of the last communities on planet Earth that will have him. And he's found a little team of people over there, not little, maybe big, that don't know shit about his history. They don't know who he is. They don't know shit about him, really. But again, I've said this before, there are other people that do. And again, this isn't going to be about him per se, but he is directly involved in this. And recently what's been going on with Nathan, because the people that are surrounding Hoax Wars or his little coven of witches, these evil, man-hating witches are responsible. They have blood on their hands at this point. At least one of them does. But they all cackle and work together. It's 2 or 3 effeminate men, Hoax Wars, Top Feed Coco, and Eon Willis, or some Johnny guy or whatever. It's like 4 or 5 of these feminine men surrounded by very, very, very old geriatric witches. And they've learned that they're nothing in real life so that they can come onto the internet and portray these characters. And see, this is something I could never relate to. Why would you come onto the internet and lie, fake, pretend? Why? I mean, there's a time and a place for that. But like Owen Benjamin, the lies, and I mean, I've just caught him in 10,000 lies. But he chooses to come on and play this character. Sometimes it's out of necessity. I'm not saying just for him. This is for people in general. Sometimes it's for one, just because they can. It's a game. It's a game. But see, Nathan is not playing a role. He's not playing a character. And when you come into contact with people like him, when you come into contact with people like Covert Radio, there's an energy and there's a frequency that is, you know, I've been told just the sound of my voice enrages people. I've also been told the sound of my voice is one of the most soothing sounds they've ever heard, and I should do ASMR. So, with that being said, and this isn't a fake voice. I could do it, and I could always work on a lower octave, and I'd talk a little hollow, talk from your chest. Like, there's a lot of shit I could. This is me. This is me. And I've come into contact with people over the years on the internet that they judge and hate before anything. And it can only be based off of my frequency, my voice, the vibration that you're feeling right now. Rather you have headphones on or you have whatever, I don't know. Whatever you're listening to me, a little phone speaker or whatever. But when you come into contact with real people on the internet, the fake people, the evil people, the demonic spirits, they immediately, their ears perk up. I'm not going to stand by and watch these demons attack Nathan. I'm just not going to do it. I don't know Nathan, but it's, again, I mentioned this before. This is that paradox where you watch people so much over the years. That's like, you know, people think they know Owen Benjamin. They think this character that he plays on the internet is really him. But if you could be a fly on the wall, you would listen to the reality of his manipulation. You would hear the conversations he's had. You would hear, especially the conversations he's had with his wife about how the bears are the bank account. Don't worry, I got this. Watch what I can do. Look who you may. I've heard it all. But he would dare never say that publicly. He has to play this character. Like the video I may get to is him, you know, he's out here virtue signaling, you know, media day with it's probably Amy. Cashier check. Cashier check. Somebody's holding a camera in a barn or a garage or something, while two little boys and Owen are crowded around a $10,000 brand new tractor. And Owen goes to talk about the greatest day of his life because he fixed a tractor. But the reality is all he did was tighten a bolt on a blade that was a little loose. But to him and to his virtue signaling and for the clicks, his wife, they all stage it like he's this family man and he's teaching his boys how to work on a tractor. When in reality, all he did was tighten a 16 millimeter bolt. Okay? So why the media? Why the camera angle? Why the pictures? Why the video of it? Why then go onto the internet and talk to your cult members how it's the best day of your life because you tightened a bolt? I fixed my tractor with my butt. What? You what? Characters, liars, charlatans. Again, back to Nathan. When you have somebody like him, these demons feast. And, you know, especially, and I'm going to talk specifically about two women. I may or may not mention their names because I hate giving them what they seek, which is attention. They get this sickening twitch of control that they so desire, which neither one of them truly have. See, and again, there's women listening to me right now, okay? If you want to be honest, if you want to be real, let's really talk about something, okay? Let me talk first to the married women out here. And you got to be married for at least 15 years to even understand what I'm about to say. It is a very, very, very fair generalization to say that a lot, maybe not most, but I would say you're a few degrees under most. Women end up resenting their husbands the older they get. The older they get, they end up resenting, almost hating. And I've seen this with my own eyes. I've seen it over and over and over and over and over again. I've seen it personally in my own life. The longer you're married, the more it's the couple, the husband and wife, over time. And I'm not saying this isn't a two-way street. I'm just specifically talking about women and their view of their husband after a certain amount of time. They resent them, then it turns into hate. And see, this resentment develops, it's not overnight, because obviously they fell in love, they got together, they got married for a reason, but over time, these negative connotations start creeping in. And it's a myriad of reasons. A lot of it is really the dichotomy of age and women compared to age and men. You know, I don't set the rules, but clearly we all know, parentheses or, quotations, age men gracefully, women don't, whatever. And the pressure on women, which I have two daughters, so you're not talking to a misogynist at all. I understand. I'm only interested in the truth, though. That's what I'm trying to convey. If I have it so wrong, please correct me and give me data so I can reprogram what I'm so wrong about in the comments section. I read every comment on Covert Radio. But a lot of you are sitting there right now shaking your head. Yes, you're right, Covert. You're right. I know. And just me saying that makes a lot of women hate me for what I know I'm right. It's so fucking nauseating. Women have told me this on this channel. I mean, and, not to mention the fact in my real life, I'm a big dude. I'm 6'4". I'm like around 300 pounds. I'm a massive dude. And I carry this presence that is really, I mean, it's sort of like it's intimidating. But at the same time, I've been told a million times, oh, when I first met you, I couldn't stand you. I'm just like, you're the best guy ever, though. But it's like my first initial presence with people is like a cocky asshole. And I'm not. I'm assertive, and I want to just speak about the truth. That's it. And, and I'm brutally honest. So, I mean, that can be conveyed in a lot of different ways. But a lot of women listening to me they're right on board with what I'm saying. And again, this can happen for many, many reasons. A lot of times it's lack of just being intimate. And you get married to the same woman for 15 years or 20 years. It's like, I mean, this is, again, women will never understand how men think when it comes to sex. It's not, oh, we don't love you. Oh, no. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing. You will just never understand. And sometimes it can be emotionally related. For most men, it's not. But the reality is, for women, it becomes an emotional thing. And women end up later in life feeling manipulated or controlled because, I took care of the kids in the house, and you worked and and this and that, and then you retired. Now it's your turn. Or they feel this mommy thing where, oh, if it wasn't for me, who would take care of the bills? You'd be done without me, and they get this mommy complex. And some men they're looking to replace their mothers with a mate, Owen. And what I'm telling you guys is the reason I'm saying any of this, and I could go on and on and on and on. I could go, and really, I think a big thing of this, honestly, is, and I mean, I've just done my own study over the years, really, and I have very personal relationships with a lot of different people, and a lot of women have been abused by men. A lot. And if I had to give a number to it, I'd say 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3 have had some trauma introduced in their life because of a man, albeit physical, emotional, sexual, whatever. It's been introduced by a man at some point they trusted, and then that was broken. And so, there's all of these moving parts. So you have these 2 women that are on the internet, empowered by hoax wars, who believe that they have, put it this way, any influence they can have on a lot of men's lives that they're in contact with, they try as hard as they can. And you're talking, one, about a woman who was brutally, listen to what I'm telling you, and I'm just going to say this one more time. I know heroin junkies, and I know what it's like for women who are heroin junkies. This liar will never, ever, ever tell me, especially me, will never tell me her version of addiction to heroin of 25 years. I will tell all of you guys the reality of a woman being addicted to heroin for 25 years. And believe me, they've been abused, used, stepped on, pissed on, kicked on, hit on, slapped on, spit on by man after man after man after man after man after man, albeit turning tricks, albeit relationships, albeit being used to go out to get money so they can score. You're never going to tell me your version of your reality or what you've convinced yourself is reality. It's never going to happen. I know what women go through that are addicted to heroin for 5 years, 10 years, let alone 25 years. So with that level of past trauma, there's nothing that anybody on the internet can do to influence them. You're out of your league. You're far beyond your capacity. You failed. You're exposed. None of these words ring true to somebody who's been so emotionally, physically, and probably sexually hurt by men for 20-some years. What do you think? A guy on the internet is going to influence this woman's actions? I mean, no. When just dogged you out in the back alley somewhere behind a dumpster and you stood up and said, but where's my $20? Where's my $20? I've got to score. Mohammed, come here. Yeah. You're never gonna tell me it's not like that. I know. And she LARPs online that she's a Christian and an author and a this and a that. Here she is. Take a listen to this.
Bad. It's way, way worse than what I'm remembering. That doesn't bother me. That was 20 years ago, you cunt, lying about my children and grandchildren. lying through your teeth on your own channel, making up the most demonic songs about me, lying about my history, lying about the book, lying about everything I've written in the book, twisting my words, saying that I had my children with me while I prostituted myself out. You cunt. Get the fuck out of here. Cheddar, can you just ban him? I've forgotten about all that. Sorry, Mitch. It got really bad. It's way, way worse than what I'm remembering. That doesn't bother me. That was 20 years ago, you cunt.
And here we go. There's Danny Boy. Hoax Wars. There's a woman who hates men. And then there's this woman who's speaking who hates men. There's a fat girl on the panel here from Canada who we all know hates men. See, they're man haters, essentially. And they found a man that has a weak moment in his life, which is Nathan, and they start frothing at the mouth. They froth at the mouth for the potential to hurt a man. They're frothing. And Hoax Wars is their little their little what see, I could go I'm good. Calm down, because I'm not going to make it if I get into him. I'm just not, because it's not over, sir. Oh, no. No, it's not over. And he has enabled these women. He protects these women. And vice versa. He is their little bitch. He's their little name-recognized little bitch boy. Drunkard. Who's found a whole new community to throw their arms around because he's a swell fella. You don't know who he is. You don't know where he's been. You don't know what he's been involved in. And relating that to Nathan is a direct connection. So you have these women vultures who, honestly, in my opinion, one of them, and I'm not going to mention her name because I truly believe she's very unstable. But she wears a pentagram. She just looks vampiric. All of her social media, all of her pictures, everything she has public. She's vampiric. She's very death culty, vampiric looking, wearing pentagrams. And a lot of people associate pentagrams with, they're Satanists. That's not always true, because from the very first moment when I realized how manipulative, how evil, and how dangerous these women are if they get one little inch in on any male that comes into contact with them, that they feel, you wronged me? You called a woman fat who gave you $200. Let's ruin your life now, Comanche. Let's make up all kinds of shit, and then we're gonna flex as if we're some moral authority. I have a whole 100 people on my channel, and I got about 10 people that watch me, but I want 2 of the biggest names in this area to come answer to me and little drunk Danny. And if you don't, you're a liar. Get the fuck out of here, junkie bitch. The fuck are you? And who is Hoax Wars? I don't answer to you, and I don't answer to fucking Hoax Wars. Who the fuck are you? Woo, calm down. This other woman who wears the pentagram, who's all draped in purple and all the, it screams Order of the Eastern Star. Order of the Eastern Star, which is, it's this ancient Masonic order of witches, of this group. And believe me, I know, oh no, covert, oh, witches aren't bad. Okay, I know, but there's evil around these 3 women, 3 or 4 women, and 2 or 3 men. Evil. Because again, when you can capitalize on somebody in a weak moment and literally get them locked up into a mental facility and intervene into their personal lives as if you, like, who do you psycho bitches think you are? I know every man in your life has dogged you out, and this is your little bit of power you have on the internet. It's like, Danny, I'm saying nigga. How many fucking times, Danny, do you have to put men on your like, what is your thing with saying the N-word, sir? Is this some sort of like sick, twisted pleasure you get that you will never have off of the internet? It's a disparaging word. It is a useless word. What the fuck good is that word? For real. But to you, it's some spiritual right. You did it to O'Darn. You did it recently to one of these guys that came up on your panel within the last 24 hours or so. The fuck is your problem, psycho? You need to quit drinking. You can't even fucking you're on the internet blown the fuck out. Nobody can hardly understand what you're saying. You're so drunk. Oh, I'll answer to you, Hoax Wars. Yeah, buddy. Okay. The fuck are you? Well, let me go answer to the junkie. Okay. No. But these give me vibes, especially this woman who wears the pentagram of the Order of the Eastern Star. And I could be wrong. But this is one thing that they've recently done. This is Lift the Veil, Nathan Stolpman. I'm going to play this video for you guys here. The title of this video is 2 Witches, 1 Email, and a Wheelchair Full of Lies. This is from a month ago, okay? We may play the whole thing. I don't know. Let me see here.
Good morning, Adam, or Great Messiah. Good to see you. Sorry about the torture you've been going through. Not to say that you guys are right about everything. I don't like those communities, the drama communities, because I know the evil spirits feed off of drama. But sometimes you need a little drama. Like I encouraged Defango to start attacking me to get me like solidified on the timeline and stuff. 13th Floor, no, I haven't seen that. Also a 1999 movie. So now I learned the code, the Thomas Schoenberger code, which is you don't talk about Thomas Schoenberger. You don't talk about how they're killing people on the internet. And then they don't bother you. They don't interfere with you. And they let you have certain things that they think you think are valuable, like clicks or views, or what have you. Because everything we see is a fiction. Even my YouTube numbers, my Twitter engagement, etc. Because there are multiple timelines, you can't worry about Twitter engagement. You can't worry about YouTube clicks. You can't worry about view numbers, which is why I appreciate Titus Frost, because he does the work without receiving, a ton of accolades or anything. He just does it because he feels the urge to. And that's why I do it. And I remember I made some videos, like my video about David Seaman that I was handled into making. So that was one of the curses. And it's one of the things I seek to ameliorate. And I seek to do that with longer life and so forth. I made a deal because of the vision I have.
I'm gonna stop the video right there. I want to first ask this. Number one, okay, I'm waiting for the deception. I'm waiting for the lies. I'm waiting for the hate. I'm waiting for nothing. No, there's nothing here. Great guy, a lot of truth. His truth. And see, there's things I'm going to talk about in this video that you're not used to me talking about. But this is where people, and I hate to say it like this, people like us truly exist on a higher plane. People like us exist on a higher plane. That's why a lot of you are here. Right now, I'm sitting under a huge tree. I swear to God, I'm sitting under the Axis Mundi right this second. And if I had my camera set up, I'd give you a quick shot of that. When I go live, you will see it. So the point I'm trying to make is, what's the Axis Mundi Covert Radio? Exactly. And I could also sit here and talk about samsaric repetition or the cycles of the samsara. And you'd be like, oh, fucking what? Okay, I understand that. A lot of you would. But there's people listening to me right now that know exactly what I'm talking about. And what Nathan's saying here is the deal he made. Just because you don't understand, just because you don't resonate and you don't feel that frequency of any level of truth or semblance that he's speaking, does not mean he's crazy. And it also doesn't mean you're crazy, which I'm still waiting for somebody to truly, honestly show me what crazy is. I know a lot of people that I consider off, but I also know a lot of people that are I consider on. And what I mean by that is I've talked about the tree my entire existence live and in real life. And I'll just, again, say it one more time. We all start on the ground. We all start at the base. The Axis Mundi is has above, so below, essentially. But it's a massive tree. And you can start. Not everybody has strong roots. Not everybody, we'll put it this way, we're all little ants at the base of it, okay? But not every little ant has the strength to climb and climb. Or one little ant may be blind, or one little ant may have a bad leg. There's so many factors. But we all can get off on any branch we want to. Or you can come back to the center and you can go a little higher and you can say, oh, well, let me get off on this branch for a while. What's this branch? Oh, 9/11 was an inside job and aliens and this and that. Okay, I'm going to come off of here. I'm going to go up a little higher. What's on this branch? And on and on and on and on and on you go. How high, how big is the tree? How high does it go? And what I mean is there's people that are on the tree and there's people that are out on a limb. They're out wherever limb they chose to get out on, to go out on. And what he's speaking about is actually ancient philosophy. Ancient, the deal he made. The samsaric repetition is an ancient philosophy referring to the cycles of birth, death, rebirth. Birth, death, rebirth, over and over and over and over again. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to have the same avatar. That doesn't mean his name's going to be Nathan. He may keep the same avatar. He may keep the same name. But This belief is ancient. This is nothing new. This is something that has been passed down to the enlightened ones over and over and over again. The cycle is the samsara. And it's the thing you can tell about somebody going through this is suffering. Suffering. And the worst thing that can be affected by somebody that is going through the cycle of samsara is ignorance, which he is not. But there are endless cycles. And again, we're going to go deep in this Covert Radio broadcast. We're going to go deeper than a lot of you have ever heard me speak. And I don't talk about this stuff. And I don't even know if this video will get out of post-production. But I mean, this is very ancient beliefs. This is ancient philosophy. And I'll tell you one thing about Nathan. His last name is Stolpman. I suck at pronunciations. The spelling is Stolpman. Stolpman, however you want to say it. It's German. I looked a lot into Nathan. I looked a lot into him over the years because I always, in the very beginning when I found him, I thought, oh, okay, is this dude like an Alex Jones? Is he on the payroll? Is he part of the COINCIDIng? No, he is not, in my opinion. No, he is not. Because I'm going to show you some things. There was a massive turning point for me and Nathan and Lift the Veil, his brand. And I knew he was for real. But Stolpman, Stolpman, has a German roots, Prussia, Silesia. It's in that region. Stolp, Stolp, has its roots in the name Stolple, Stople. Stolp, man, Stolpman, is derived from Stolpe, which refers to a post, a pole, or a pillar. A pillar. And this is going to go crazy deep for you guys, but I'm going to tie this also into the Bible. Because all through history, all through ancient history, there's always been references to pillars of lights, pillars in the temple of God. And even in the Christian mysteries, which was the beginning part of Revelation, the verse, to him who overcometh, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God. So just his name alone, and man, pillar man, another ancient word, man. I mean, every single language in antiquity, all through history, that word has always been tied to rocks, stone, boulders, always. And we're going to talk about a Hermian heap and a bunch of things coming up. Stuff you guys may have never heard of. A lot of you guys. I know a lot of you have. But just the basis of Nathan Stolpman is a pillar of stone. Okay? And again, I'm not going to let you witches, demons, fuck with him without saying something.
That I would be willing to live forever rather than procreate because I was shown by my creator that my procreation was super important. I said, well, what if I live forever instead? Would that be okay? He was like, really? You want to live forever? Do you know what that means? And I was like, no, not really. I'm sure it means suffering for a long time because life is suffering. He was like, yeah, how about like a long time, like forever, literally infinity? I was like, okay. Well, let's practice that or walk ourselves through that and see if we think we can handle it. And I decided that I was willing to handle it. But then I was made suicidal.
I'll stop it right there. Like, what he's talking about, and again, in this cycle of the samsara, like, I mentioned even before he said that, I talked about suffering. But a lot of the suffering can be attributed to just a few things. It's attachment to whatever, because even in, there's one of the oldest sayings, oh, you can't take it with you. Right. So there's the suffering a lot of times can be caused. It's called the three poisons. Greed is one of them. Hatred is one. Ignorance, which he is not. But there's also the beginning of the suffering is caused by attachment, or you're avoiding who you are. You're not accepting who you are, or you have fucking witches on the internet trying to get you institutionalized into the demonic pharmakia to destroy his pillar. But he is not ignorant.
Just can't tell you how difficult the journey has been and how difficult it could be still. But now I seek to help others who are being tortured by the powers that be, that seek to control the technology, which controls the matrix. So
keep that in mind. He mentioned the technology that controls the matrix. We'll talk about that. Because that does kind of tie into what I wanted to talk about from just a lot of proof that Nathan is meant to be here, and the deal he made is possibly an ancient deal. Can I tell you guys a personal story real quick? And this is just going to be 2 minutes. I swear to God, this is true. I would never lie to you guys. I don't have it in me to waste the time to play some fucking character of like, that's not in me, okay? It's not. And I'm apologize for cursing so much. I really got to stop. I go through phases, but my granddaughter, who will be 2 in about 2 months, okay? Listen, and I don't want to give you too much of a backstory, but she's been shuffled around for the last year and a half of her life because both her parents work. So she spends time with these grandparents. She spends time with the other grandparents. She spends time with the other grandparents. She'll spend time with aunts. And there's no uncles. But so 2 aunts, 2 or 3 or 4, 3 grandparent couples. Well, one's not a couple. It's just a grandma. So what? 3 grandmas, 2 paps, and 2 aunts, plus a separated mom and dad. Okay, so she's shuffled around a lot. And I try to have her as much as I physically can. Which is a lot of times when I, like this weekend is a heavy, I'm not saying we're supposed to be because it's not over yet. It's only Saturday. I want to do one more video for you guys. I said it was going to be a heavy media weekend for us. And this is number 2. And I definitely want to try to get to one more before tomorrow night for the weekend's over. But anyway, so, cause I spend a lot of weekends, she's with me, with us a lot on the weekends. And did you guys hear that train in the background? Okay. Can you hear that? I don't know if you can. That's crazy because this is about a train. One day we're here and I don't know if you heard it. I mean, the train, it's loud as hell. So the train just does what it just did. That blows the real loud whistle and everything. And her eyes got real big and she goes, teen, teen. And me or my wife did not understand what she was saying. I'm like, and she'd hear the whistle. She'd like look around. She'd go, teen. It took about a day to figure out that she was talking about a train. And you don't understand how insane she gets when she hears a train. And I said to her, honey, you don't even know what a train is. Because I know, me personally, she has never seen one. And I know that through her mom and dad, she has never seen one because they honestly barely have her. And I asked her mother, I said, is your mom, which is the grandma, I said, does your mom live by a train tracks or anything? She's like, no. And I know, okay, so my first instinct was like, how do you know what a train is? And I said, okay, I'm going to show her what a train is. And so the next day or day after, whatever, I purposely went, because I know when the trains come, and we went down, and I said, okay, in my mind, I was like, she's going to be terrified, because I'm even afraid of trains to a certain degree. When you get close to them, it's like, come on. But I was, at one point, in my own defense, I was near a train wreck once, and it's not fun. It shook the ground for about 50 to 80 yards. It was crazy. It was like an earthquake, and my buddy's car got smashed. But anyway, it derailed. But anyway, I'm like, okay, so she'll see what a train is. It'll make sense. She might, okay. She loved it. She's waving. She's going, hi. There's nobody on the train. It's like, okay, they're just big cars and shit with coal or whatever. She's like, hi. Like, how do you know what a train is? And all she watches is Bluey. So I don't remember seeing any trains on there. So what I'm telling you guys is, and there's one more thing. This started last weekend. She looked at me and she goes, Pap, Marce, in like a real serious face. Prior to this, we went out shopping. I get her something every weekend. And there was an American flag, like near the checkout. She's like, blowing. And she does that when she sees bubbles. And I'm looking, I was like, is there bubbles around? Like, do you see bubbles? She loves bubbles. But she saw the flag and she's like, she starts blowing. And I'm like, and I said, the flag? And I grab it and she's like, she puts both her hands out like, gimme. She loves her little American flag on a stick. She carries it with her and she waves it. So later that day, I swear to God, she looks at me dead serious and she goes, Pap, march. And I'm thinking, okay, I don't know what you're saying. And she starts goose stepping. She started goose stepping. You understand what I just said? She's not even 2. I know she does not know what marching is. I know that she has no idea what goose stepping is. She only really watches Bluey. She doesn't know how to work the TV remote. So why is she so enamored and fascinated, not even 2 years old, with trains? And how does she know what marching is, goose stepping, and waving a flag? How does she know this? You can go on anywhere on YouTube, Rumble, whatever, and search these videos. And I've talked about this. This is part of the philosophy that I was just talking about, the samsara philosophy, or like he said, the matrix, or what Archaics calls is the simulacrum, the simulation, that we're all living in a simulation. There's doctors that have said they've proven this. There's scientists that are, no longer visible. I mean, there's a lot of people that are coming on board with simulation theory. And all I say is, for anybody that even wants to go down that road, put a pair of VR goggles on. I've talked about this show I have coming up. I've been working on it. It's a passion project, really. It's like a documentary. And it's simply titled Mother Earth, Motherboard. Mother Earth, Motherboard. That is the documentary. And it's about man's existence in this environment, more than likely simulation, that is a perfect paradise creation mirror image of where we're actually going or from. This is a proving ground. It's possibly a soul capture. It's possibly a prison for some people. But again, this all goes with the philosophy of samsara. This all goes with the philosophy of the matrix and the simulacrum, and the fact that, this is a very, very, very intricate version of VR. If we as humans right now have AI at our fingertips, and we can put goggles on and go into the metaverse and live in these environments like the Unreal Engine, all of Hollywood is going to be filmed in a room about the size I'm sitting in right now, based on the Unreal Engine and what they're able to do now in real time with environments. And, I call VR devil's eyes, because I'm not getting into this because I don't want to get sidetracked. But if you put our eyes that you can touch, your physical eyes, that's our creator's VR. When you slide those goggles, that is the deceiver's reality, which is where ultimately they really truly do want us. But, again, coming back again and again and again and again, and with my little granddaughter, to me, it so underlines that you just keep coming back. You keep coming back. You can maybe choose to come back. There's people that believe this is a 10-minute or, a 20-minute game you can play on wherever we're actually from. 80 years here is 20 minutes over there. You can come here. You can experience different avatars. You can know what it's like to be black. You can know what it's like to be Chinese, to be white, to be female. That's why I hate racism so much. Racism is for stupid people. The fact that you think you can hate an entire race of people based on the degree of melanin they have in their skin is fucking retarded. Characteristically, can you attribute a lot of, things to certain people and groups and races? Absolutely. But it's just so insane. It's so, but hey, be that, do that, whatever. My point is, you're not going to fuck with this guy, though. I know that, not without me having something to say about it. I don't want to get off topic here, but I wanted to tell you guys that story about my granddaughter, because there's no way on earth that she should know what a train is. And I'll say this one last thing. On my refrigerator, there's a magnet, and it has this red caboose on it. Okay, I can't even remember the last time I saw a red caboose. I can't even remember the last time I saw a caboose. They haven't been putting them on trains for God knows how long, 15, 20 years, 25 years? Longer, 25 years at least, since I've seen a caboose. She's not even 2. How could she point to that magnet and go, oh, Jane? How? Because it's in a field. It's not on tracks. It's not on the back of other cars. There's no engine. How does she know? How did she know it was a train and not a little cabin or a house? She's been here before. That's why. That's how she knows. She's been here before.
Creme brulee, my favorite dessert. Victoria Pandora. Okay. Well, Adam, who is being stalked, is also a stalker, apparently. So Adam is a complicated character. Adam, you bring it on yourself. So that's what I didn't tell you last night. Adam, you can make it stop yourself if you just stop and just do it psychically instead.
You know, I can't I can't disagree 100% with that. You know, here's why I say that. You know, and I'll say this till the day I die. From what I know of Adam Camacho, okay? Adam is a throwback from the 1920s or 30s. He's very, very old school. He doesn't give a fuck about, oh, hey, hit me up sometime. He will come to your house and have a conversation with you. Oh, hey, dude, you should text me sometime. He will call you. Hey, you know, why don't you, you know, we should go hang out sometime. He'll call you the next day to go have lunch. He's old school. Belly to belly, wants to get the vibe, wants to get to know you, and let's hash it out. Adam speaks truth. He says what's on his mind. And one thing that I will truly say about what Nathan just said, you know, he said, Adam, you bring it on yourself. I'm not saying as in he's asking for it. What I'm saying is Adam, from what I know, his first initial, just honestly like mine, my first reaction when all this started with these witches was disbelief. I thought something was crossed. There was wrong information. This came out of left field. And my first reaction was like, what are you talking? I mean, like, we got to figure this out. Like, there's no way. Somebody gave you wrong information or something. You have something wrong. Let's figure this out. That's not what happened. They just went and went and went and went harder. And I know Adam initially tried to disarm all of this and say, no, you got that wrong. No, but see, by the time this really started snowballing, you had several man-hating women who are now involved, and they felt slighted. And it turned into this, like, literal witch hunt. This, from my understanding, okay? From my understanding, all of this started because Adam said somebody's fat and they should ride a bike. One of these women were overweight and should ride her bike more. And with that came all these people who were, really? Well, let's see. And then they just dug and slandered and dug at him and slandered him and dug at him and slandered him and this and this and that and that. And it's like his first reaction was like, well, wait, no, I'll answer him. No, I got an answer for you. I can answer that. I'll answer you. And that's what Nathan is saying. You're bringing it on. Some of this is brought on because I think Adam cared too much about the wrong people. Adam cared too much about these witches' perception. Now, in retrospect, he understands. But during the last, say, first few months of this, his first reaction, from what I understand, was to fix and say, okay, no, wait, let's disarm. Let's try to talk it out. What are you talking about? I can explain that. What do you mean by that? There's no appeasing these witches. They want blood. They want the blood of a man. They want the blood of a man because they hate men. They hate men. Collectively, they hate men. Because they've been dogged out so bad by men their entire adult life that now the first whiff of retribution to any man, albeit Adam, albeit Covert Radio, albeit Nathan, albeit whoever, and you have little effeminate nothing hoax wars out here just marionetting these witches. Hoax wars, there's a lot of moving parts to this. So I can agree with what Nathan said is, you could disarm some of it and ignore it, but And I think it took Adam a little bit longer than most people to reach that point where he's like, oh, these are just witches. They're crazy bitches. So, I mean, I just throw your hands up. I mean, what do you do? I mean, how many billions of sayings are there about scorned women? Huh? How many? You know, there's another saying that I believe is true, too. And I've said this before on Covert Radio. One evil woman can destroy 1,000 good men.
You just withdraw.
And see, and I'll tell you guys, I'll let you in on a little secret here. When I just said that, these witches are smiling right now because they know they're evil. They know they're witches. And they know that they had the capacity to destroy somebody like Nathan. I said one evil woman can destroy 1,000 good men, and all of them got this happy little feeling. Oh, you're right. And don't you fucking forget it, you can't. Yeah, you evil bitch. All of you can go to hell, for real.
It is in your best interest to withdraw, and probably to withdraw from your lawsuit or whatever it is. It is in your best interest to stop fighting these demons because they'll never stop. They will never stop. Again,
100% truth. The guy to this point has spoken nothing but truth.
Okay, so that's some advice for you. I am getting people telling me about you bothering them. So you have looked into the darkness and been overcome by the darkness yourself. And you must withdraw if you want it to stop. Otherwise, it'll continue forever. Because you are bothering real people. Well, I'm just telling you based on my observations, because I have real people talking to me who I know are real people who say you're bothering them. And I don't want you bothering them. The same way I don't want Thomas Schoenberger and those other trolls bothering you. Okay. So I don't know much about you. But when you called in, I was like, it's part of the code. You must turn the other cheek. It's what Jesus said. Okay. You must turn the other cheek. Or be overcome. Be willing to be overcome, or be willing to fight forever. If you want to take on the role of Jesus Christ, then you must work very hard to cleanse yourself spiritually and physically, and then go into that battle with a very clear mind and understanding the laws of karma. Because when you bother other people, then they will use that to bother you. And that's what happened to me in the past, is I attacked other people. So for which I had to make like forgiveness streams. I had to ask forgiveness. That's what we have to do. We have to ask forgiveness for our sins every day, every night. And we should ask forgiveness from our partner before we go to bed every night for whatever transgressions we did during the day. And we should do our best to settle our debts every day and every night. So you just make sure, sir, because I tend to believe, Adam, there are many demons who are after you, but it's because you have opened yourself up to them. That's all. And just go back to the laws, read the book of Matthew. Etc. I'm willing to consider all of my thoughts and change my mind at any time.
You know, I just want to stop it there. I don't know how much more I'm going to play. There's only a few more minutes because we have more to get to. But when he said, hold on, let me take it back. I don't want to misquote him.
I'm willing to consider all of my thoughts and And just go back to the laws, read the book of Matthew, etc. every day and every night. So you just make sure, sir, because I tend to believe, Adam, there are many demons who are after you, but it's because you have opened yourself up to them.
There are many demons after you because you've opened yourself up to them. You know what I get from that, what my understanding of that is, when people give you money, they believe they can control you. When people give you money, they believe that they control you, and they believe that it's buying them your allegiance. This is the gray area and the very messed up part about Patreon. And that's why, over the years, listen, I'll never forget, my Patreon used to be pretty big years ago, dealing with Sotomayor. But again, Tommy was a much bigger and I've talked about that. But I'll never forget, I had a message from one of my top tier supporters, and they literally gave me this 10 paragraph email, and they're like, and the gist of it was this: Covert Radio, if you cannot stop mentioning God or Christianity or Christ, Jesus Christ, if you cannot stop mentioning that in your streams, in your videos, I'm going to have to pull my funding. I took that very, very, very personally. And I immediately refunded them every single cent they've ever given me. On the spot, immediately. Your money does not buy me. Your money doesn't buy my channel. And your money doesn't buy my thoughts. That's why I've never cared about being monetized and walking the razor's edge. And, hey, you guys, let's talk about this. And that. I don't give a shit. Your money's not going to control me. I'm not going to modify myself to, or my thoughts or my opinions because I'm trying to get a contract. If you understand what I'm saying and you want to support this level of media, you support it. And I know there was one woman who was supporting Adam Camacho's lawsuit against Owen Benjamin, who has also given Owen thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. At one point, there was one payment of $5,000 that she gave to Owen Benjamin. And, $5,000 to one person is nothing. $5,000 to another person is a lot of money. But the little bit of money she was giving Adam Camacho compared to the big money that she had given out to Owen Benjamin is laughable, especially when she thought she could control him. And see, that's what I believe Nathan's saying. When you ask people for money and they hand it to you, what they're buying is your allegiance. They're buying something with their money.
That's all. And just go back to the laws, read the book of Matthew. Etc. I'm willing to consider all of my thoughts and change my mind at any time. But I'm just telling you my initial impressions because I have people reaching out to me who care about me. You know what I mean? So it's okay, Adam. I don't want to fight with you about it. And I love you and wish the best for you. So I only speak from my experience. I'm trying to help you based on my own experience in fighting demons, there certainly are. I saw them and I took your side against them, and I'm here to fight against those forces on your behalf because I care about you. But I'm just telling you from my experience because I've been through all of it much more publicly than you. You must withdraw if you want it to stop. Okay, you must not seek revenge. That is the old way. And if you seek revenge, then you must learn the Jewish ways, the magic ways, to do it without the karmic retribution, because they're using your karma against you. I understand you have a lawsuit of some sort. You don't want to be doing that, probably. Forgive us our debts as we forgive others. Money gone is money gone. If you lost money to Owen Benjamin, it's your fault too. He's a scammer, but it's your fault too. And so all these lawsuits and everything, Jesus said to settle before you go to court, because if you don't, then they'll lock you up. That's all I can say.
So to save time, I can't say I actually I may have watched it a month ago when this first came out. Again, a lot has happened in a month since this. To me, Nathan is trying to be a very stand-up, very stable, very medium of a peacekeeper. He wants peace more than anything. He wants everybody to be okay. While at the same time, while this is going on, he had literal witches plotting his demise, plotting to get him literally locked up, literally put into another level of just pharmakia, whatever's going on with him. Some of it's good, a lot of it's not. You know what I mean? I believe in apothecary. We live in a allopathic system where you can't watch I call it pharmaceutivision. You cannot watch anything on television without and this drug, that drug, and it's all perfectly tuned with color and psychology and messaging. I have shows coming up about this. I just haven't finished them yet. I know a lot about this. I know a lot about communication, put it that way. And listen, everything that Nathan's saying here, it just screams peace, okay? Blessed are the peacemakers. So fast forward, we're going to play this right here. This was 2 days ago.
And it's part of the same network, I guess. So we're still in a battle against that network, but I feel like their influence is waning. So it's good. We exposed some of them. We exposed the network. But yeah, one of them was talking to Katie, actually. So it was influencing my life, basically.
So Katie is his, I believe, wife or his girlfriend or fiance. I think it was his fiance. So one of these witches took it upon herself now. And see, the reason my opinion is for this is because Nathan tried to help Adam Camacho. And you heard the same help everybody and their mother heard. Nathan not only tried to give sage advice to Adam, he gave sage advice to the demons that are plotting against him that were watching him at that time. That watches every move, essentially. And I can show you some things we're going to take a look at. But what he's saying now is one of these witches plotted so deeply that she got in touch with his own fiance. See, this is what they do. They go after you. They found a little weak spot and then they pounced on him. Again, led by Hoax Wars. And you could mention, you know, Nathan could be responsible for Danny Boy's downfall, which, whatever, it could be true. I don't know 100%. But again, I'm looking at where the lie is. Where is the lie? That's all I'm interested in, Hoax Wars. Where's the lie? I mean, you have no problem doxing people. You have no problem going after people's personal lives. You have no problem at all convening with a gaggle of witches to foment somebody's suicide, right? Right? You're evil, evil people. And you have a lot of people fooled, Dan. You have a lot of people fooled, Hoax. It's not, listen, I'm not saying anything.
So one of those people who's involved was talking to Katie. So I'm probably advising her to do stuff. And they were trying to drive me to suicide, basically. So thanks, JRD. Years, that's good. I went off track, but I like to communicate with people in the chat. Yeah, there are evil people on YouTube who go after people like me, and then they're going after like David Schurter. So I checked in on David Schurter's channel yesterday just to give him a thumbs up. He was going through the same kind of, he did like a 10-minute stream. I guess he normally does like an hour and a half, 3 times a week or something like that. He did a really short stream. Seemed like he was feeling under the weather too. A lot of the sensitive people have been feeling under the weather. Something about these geomagnetic storms, I think. So, but yeah, there are people on the internet that try to troll people like me into like committing suicide, basically. So that's what they were trying to do. So, and then getting involved in my personal life too. So, but I don't feel their influence right now. I think I was feeling it a couple days ago. They're witches, Satanists, magicians, evil.
Order of the Eastern Star.
But I hear the Hoax Wars show is no longer a thing. Like he got doxxed or something. So that sounds good. That's good, Angel. Yeah, life can get difficult though sometimes. Like I'm having to start back over again, basically, completely. So I won't give it any energy, Lulu. Thanks for that. Yeah, I had to a little bit just to try to like get rid of it. But it seems like it's not around anymore. The influence isn't around anymore. Like they're running scared or something, which is good. So oh, there we go. Victim lark trying to dox your friends, customers during a mental episode is the issue. Okay. Hey, that's fine, dude. You guys are fucked.
You know, that's the other thing too, whenever you're somebody like Nathan and you just live in the, you know, the absolute reality of the moment, you know, you can call that. You can call that. Compared to some little troll bitch like Hoax Wars who sits in his little, listen, there will be balance. Above all, there will be balance. That's all I'm saying. And Nathan can call things like that. But above all, there will be balance.
Like, what's the problem with being doxxed? Everybody knows my name.
Exactly.
Everybody knows my address. I showed my ID.
Exactly.
I'll have to make some mods or something. Yeah, Virginia died. But there's the trolls and stuff. Good. I'm glad you guys are upset. You're the worst people on earth, actually.
100%.
You're actually the worst people on the whole planet.
100%.
You go after vulnerable people on YouTube.
Vulnerable people whose own surname steeps in an ancient tradition that he belongs here. And Nathan has a very old soul. Whether he's been here, whether, I know there's grammatical Nazis in the audience. I say rather, and that's a combination of rather and whether, okay? Just to save time. I don't like thinking about it. My soul has known Nathan for over 1,000 years. You understand that? Just like I've known Owen's soul for over 1,000 years. I've battled Owen before. And people like him. And people like Tommy Sotomayor. This is an ancient war. Ancient. We don't know how it started. We don't know who the original aggressor was. But it's never going to end. And it's not so much like these demons that are manifesting now. The war is not about them. The war is about why they even exist. That is the war. The surname alone, like I said in the beginning of this, Stolpman, Stolpman, Stolp, original surname, has roots, ancient roots, Germany, Prussia, Silesia, Stolp, Stolpe, post, pillar. Man, Stolpman, pillar of stone. Pillar of stone. To him who overcomes, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God. It's a promise of eternal security. And somebody like Nathan, who has put himself out here in the gifts he has given to the world with his insight and his patience and his interviews and his channel and his work, to have these nothing witch demons and these sniveling little fucking trolls attack him, I will never stand idly by. We're established. We belong here. We are steadfast pillars. This is not, I don't even know if I want to get into this because, the fact that, and I mean, I could tie this into Egypt. I could definitely tie this into the pyramids of Giza and show the Aramaic Hebrew word and relate it to the Bible and the geometric values and everything that's purposefully perfect, Like the Hebrew Aramaic word for border was Giza, Giezw, Giza. And that Isaiah chapter 19, verse 19 talks about a pillar in the middle of Egypt, and yet at the border thereof, which was an altar. And many hundreds and hundreds of authors over the years, like David Davidson and Palmer Smith, 1800s, early 1900s. A lot of authors have come to the conclusion that they're talking about the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid is the pillar of God, which is also an altar. And it also emits a frequency. It's the monument of mankind, and it's at the middle of Giza, and yet at the border thereof. the geometrical value of that passage of Isaiah chapter 19, verse 19 is 5,448. That's exactly how tall the Great Pyramid is. 5,448 inches tall. Again, all through history, all through ancient Egypt, all through antiquity, all languages. The word men, M-E-N, means stone. Boulders, links. You know, I talked before about a Hermian heap, because in ancient times it was believed that, and this could relate to the pyramid too. The reason I'm saying this is, you know, you can't deny the fact that the guy's own surname means pillar of stone, okay? All through in ancient times, when a crowd of people would come together, and they would build, like, so for example, Jacob and Laban and Jacob, when they, in Genesis, they came into an agreement. They made a covenant of separation and peace. And when they built when they came together for the agreement, they built what's called a Hermian heap, which the Hermian heap also acted as the boundary marker that neither one of them would cross into, or their families. So in ancient times, whenever an agreement was made like that, the people, the village, the families, they came together and built what was called a Hermian heap. And the two patriarchs, which in that situation would have been Laban and Jacob, they're the ones that would lay the biggest stones. They would put the biggest rocks down first. And then that's followed by each member of their family, their household, their friends, their cousins. They would all, everybody who was a witness, they would all come in, and everybody would place their stone into the pile. And by the time it was all done, it would look like a pyramid. And every single stone that was put there was a representation of one of the people who were there when they witnessed when Laban and Jacob made their promise. They made their agreement. So, you know, this is ancient. This is ancient teachings. And it comes from the idea that every single stone in the Great Pyramid represents a soul that is here permanently in the matrix, perpetually here, like Nathan making agreement in this avatar, knowing and coming to the realization that he's going to be here forever. Whether this is an awakening of his soul, whether this is a reawakening of who he is, every stone in that pyramid is representing, like a Hermian heap, a soul that is here inside of this dome, that is here perpetually. Whether you want to call it a proving ground, a living library, a soul teaching simulation, a game of chess between good and evil. That's where it really comes from. The Christian mysteries, which I talked about in the beginning of this, which was the first few chapters of Revelation, they were added to the Sibylline oracles. They were also used to compose. And don't get it confused. And then this is, if you're into it, you can't get that confused with the Sibylline books. This is the Sibylline oracles in the Christian mysteries, or that were the Christian mysteries were added to that, which is the first 3 chapters or so. I think it's just the first 3 chapters of Revelation. which is really the most ancient stuff of all of it. And in the first 3 chapters, which again are the Christian mysteries, they're taken from a lot of older Greek prophecies and sources. But it says, like in Revelation 3:12, "To he that overcometh, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God." Christian Mysteries, Revelation 3:12. "To he that overcometh, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God," which again is a promise. It's a promise of eternity. It's a promise of eternal security. It's a permanent promise of honor. You know, for people who overcome the challenges, they remain steadfast. They are peacemakers. They are truth sayers, and they have faith. They are established as pillars. Also, Revelation 2, chapter 2, again, part of the Christian mysteries. "To he that overcometh, I will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name, which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth." Like Stolpman. How do you know? What do you know is the question. Demon, what do you know, demon? What do you know, witch? Your God's not greater than ours. Your power is nothing compared to ours. You're decaying, and it shows. Your decay shows. And chapter 2 in Revelation, when they're talking about "to him that overcometh will be given a white stone," the entire pyramid in Giza at that time, or prior, was, all of it was white stone. But it could also be talking about receiving a new body, a new garment. You know, it's, again, you can't take the Bible literally a lot of the times. When it's talking about receiving a new garment, it could be very well receiving a new avatar, eternal life, a new avatar. Do you think his next if this avatar lasts another 1,000 years, so be it. If not, the new avatar, the garment, which a lot of times you're told in the Bible that your garment is your name, Stolpman, it does not get any clearer than that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Leave this man alone. And it may actually be too late for you.
You claim to be a victim? Victim LARP. That's funny. You're a predator. But it's a crime what you do. Keep testing me. I don't care. You commit crimes. You deserve to be doxxed. What are you afraid of? If you're not doing anything wrong, who cares if people know your name? Everybody knows my name. You're the criminals. You kill people for fun. Prove me wrong. You kill people for fun. Test me. I don't care. I want the worst possible things to happen to you people. The worst.
Me too. Me too.
You deserve it.
And they do.
Yeah, anything that's coming to you, you deserve it. You did it to me. You tried to destroy my life.
You know, and it just makes me sad. It makes me sad that he has the capacity to field these demonic entities. And, you know, what do you think? He's going to back down? Do you think I'm going to back down? Do you think Adam's going to back down? Do you think Alan's going to back down? And the army that you can't see on this plane and others that you have no clue how to reach, how to tap into. We got an army you can see and an army you know nothing about. I want to give you a quick, not even a quick, let's take our time with this gentleman. I want to show you something about Nathan Stolpman. This is his Patreon. Lift the Veil. Again, usually right, always honest, always has been. I love the guy's work. But I'm going to show you a turning point for me, which was about 8 years ago. This is his Patreon. If you can help Nathan and support his work, become a Patreon. If you want to support truth, if you want to support independent journalism, become one of his Patreons. You can join for free right here if you want to help him out. I don't know. I don't know what levels of membership he has. He does have paid members here. But I'm going to play this video for you here. This is his video that he has on Lift the Veil intro here.
Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith.
You know, I'm sorry to interrupt this. I want to say one thing about, you know, you guys may be real, you may not be in my head. Again, to people who don't understand the level of reality, and I don't know how to explain it, but for those who aren't connected to that level of understanding, and I've said this in such a watered down way, but if you understand the actual reality of the power that every single person has listening to my voice, the power you have to control your reality, you would not wake up tomorrow in the same predicament you're in right now. Good or bad. You'd either make it better if you're in a good predicament, or you'd make your bad predicament start turning around. And I've said this 1,000 times on Covert Radio. We all live in our own reality. My reality is different from Nathan's, which is different from 20 other people I could name. We all live in our own version of reality. However, there are constants that we can all share. But we're all the authors of our own identity. We're the authors of our own reality in a very, very, very substantial way. And this isn't something you can just say, oh, I wish I had. Yeah, because you continue to wish, and everything around you that's going to be manifest is going to be you wishing you had. And I'm not getting into this. This isn't that. What I'm saying is, when he's talking about, yeah, I believe some of you are real, the manifestation of, actual real people and a real audience is something that is based in his reality, compared to the fact that, are they in his head? Meaning, are they part of the show? I don't see. It's weird because I don't know how to explain it, but I'm going to rewind it. I don't want to mess up his intro.
Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound?
I'll give you an example of that, and just so I can relate me personally, in case you don't know who Nathan is or you've never heard of him, but if you've listened to me over the years, there's one thing I've always said about Covert Radio. I've always said I am a diamond in some people's pockets, because my metrics for the reality of my reach has been so modified over the years, where, like I said before, I've had videos 30, 40, 50,000 views average. I have one video on another channel. It's around 200,000 views right now, or last time I looked, which is a year or so ago, a couple years ago maybe. But it's like, you know, the reality of my reach based on being shadow banned, based on losing my channel. I've always said I'm a diamond for other content creators, because they can take any of my concepts. They can take any of my insight. They can take any of my ideas and run with it. Because the reality is, when I see 1,000 people watch my video, to me, there's 10,000. There could be 20,000. Because at one point, those numbers did tick onto this machine I'm staring at. Where did they go? You know what I mean? It's like, are they there? Or so I get it, you know. I really genuinely get what he's saying. And I've talked about it before, but, you know, I don't care about that. I care that, you know, I know that there's real people because I interact with them in the comment section. And I actually, well, that's a different video, but that's part of Mother Earth Motherboard. I have a few little hacks that you can, but they've gotten really good at it though with the chat bots. But there's still several things you can do, question interaction wise, to see if you're talking to a bot or an NPC. There's a few hacks that are still working, but we'll talk about that in another video.
And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stolpman. And I bring you the news, the real news.
So that's his intro there. This is his Patreon, which will be linked in the description along with the Covert Radio one. But what I mentioned before was, let me see where we're at on time, because I just have a few more things. Okay. This was a turning point for me. Even though I've watched Nathan prior to this, I've would always check into his videos and stuff. I'm not going to play a lot of this because I know for a fact that this is something that will get you on multiple lists. I've talked about this guy before. I've had multiple videos about him. And again, I can't even really talk about the topic. I will link this interview that Nathan had with a guy named Wolfgang Halpig. If you don't know who he is a guy who investigated. See, there's trigger words. There's at a beach, there's sand. Like if you're walking around, you know what I mean? Like you can get sandy, you know what I mean? In a beach, you can get sandy. And then if you want to be on that same beach and you want to maybe take your fishing pole, you got to put a hook on it, you know, and cast that out. Maybe you'll catch a fish on the sandy beach with your hook, you know what I mean? So Wolfgang was already in that industry, setting up school districts and private security for the exact scenario just about that happened there at this place that some people say, and including Alex Jones, was absolutely 100% S-T-A-G. Wait, that's S-T-A-T, S-T-A. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? I want you to hear this. That's why I'm doing this. We're speaking in code a little bit. Wolfgang is in that industry. He was an expert, brought in multiple times. He's had multiple lawsuits. He's been sued several times by some of the parents in that place because he believes that it never happened. And I still, to this day, I know the internet has been scrubbed a billion ways to Sunday. I know I have it on hard drives. I know I have the helicopter footage of everybody walking in circles through the parking lot, back out through the back of the school, back out the front, through the parking lot. I have the images of the big, state road flashing signs that says, if you're here for the, if you're here for the, what would they call it? A exercise. If you're here for the exercise, please sign in. I have all the news articles of the coroner in that area saying that, laughing and giggling and all this shit. When I saw this interview that Nathan did with Wolfgang, which I will link this, I'm not going to play any of it, but this is him here. I knew right then and there that he's for real. And not that I ever doubted he wasn't, but this proved to me that he cares about the truth. This proves to me that he's that he's serious. Because this gentleman here is a very serious man who has very serious questions. And to date, they will not meet him in court with discovery. What does that tell you? This was 8 years ago. This is Nathan's bit shoot. Wolfgang Halbig with Lift the Veil, Lenny Posner trials, and I won't say the name. You think this is suppressed with only 900 views? It's probably more like 90,000 for real. Wolfgang was tied into Alex Jones. This is the New York Times real quick right here. How Alex Jones and InfoWars helped a Florida man torment that place. They've tried to sue Halbig several times. I don't believe any of them have stuck. I know most recently he was brought in for having somebody's identification. They have gone after Halbig in so many ways. And I've questioned if, because of how the attacks have come against Nathan, a pillar of stone, Stolpman, if it can all be traced back to this show right here 8 years ago with this gentleman. Because these motherfuckers have stopped at nothing to keep this story straight about what happened there. I want to play a video for you guys. There's going to be two, and I've done this. I hope this video makes it, because every time I've covered this the way Covert Radio covers it, those videos have been long gone, taken off of YouTube. But I want to show you guys something and start giving you the eyes to see. The eyes to see. Do you believe this is real? Do you believe this is real?
My name is Susan Orfanos. My son was Tel Orfanos. We lost him last night at the borderline shooting. My son was in Las Vegas with a lot of his friends, and he came home. He didn't come home last night, and I don't want prayers. I don't want thoughts. I want gun control, and I hope to God nobody else sends me any more prayers. I want gun control. No more guns. Thank you. My name is Susan Orfanos. My son was Tel Orfanos. We lost him last night at the borderline shooting. My son was in Las Vegas with a lot of his friends and he came home. He didn't come home last night, and I don't want prayers. I don't want thoughts. I want gun control, and I hope to God nobody else sends me any more prayers. I want gun control. No more guns. Thank you.
You know, again, every time I've covered stuff like this, those videos just mysteriously disappear, or I get strikes or whatever. Just like the guy in Vegas, and they showed up at his brother's house, whose address just happened to be 322, and you know, I dove deep on that and all the mannerisms and the body language and all that. Again, this is a side of Covert Radio only you old school listeners, the people who have been with me for about 10 years, that only you guys know what I'm talking about. The last few years, none of you guys have any clue of the amount of information and insight and videos I've created. This is one last thing I want to show you, dealing with Wolfgang and Nathan and a very real possibility what started his attacks and put him on the radar of a lot of these demonic forces trying to, not trying, but actually attacking him. Let me show you CNN's version of this gentleman here. His name's Robbie Parker.
So my name's Robbie Parker. My family is one of the families that lost a child yesterday in the Sandy Hook Elementary School shootings here in Connecticut. I've been contacted by so many...
You know, what's very telling here is I want you to look, and I mean, I'm not getting into this with body language. I'm not doing it, okay? But this woman is very well rested. There's no bags under her eyes. There's no signs of distress. There's no, everything's together. Everything's kept. Everything's looking okay. This guy slept very good last night for somebody who just supposedly something or whatever. And, you know, I mean, it's all been proven that he's, he's in... Well, again, I got to watch. We'll say theatrics is his profession. And, you know, this woman's clearly wearing a wig, and the glasses with the smudge will definitely stop a lot of identification processes. And now with AI, I'm surprised a lot of these videos have not been 100% scrubbed yet. But, you know, this is CNN here with Robbie Parker.
People and agencies wanting to know how we're doing, and I just thought that this might be the best way to share those feelings with everybody. First of all,
his eyes are not red. There's no bags. There's no clear sign of like crying, weeping, nothing.
Really like to offer our deepest condolences to all the families who were directly affected by this shooting. It's a horrific tragedy, and we want everybody to know that our hearts and our prayers go out to them. This includes the family of the shooter. My daughter, Emily.
Eyes closed, looking to the right.
Would be one of the first ones to be standing and giving her love and support to all...
Well, I'm not doing this.
...those victims. Because that's the type of person that she is. Not because of any parenting that my wife and I could have done, but because those are the gifts that were given to her by her Heavenly Father. She was the type of person that could just light up a room. She always had something kind to say about anybody. And her love and the strength that she gave us and the example that she showed us is remarkable. She is an incredible person. And I'm so blessed to be her dad.
She is? Okay. She is like she is, or she was. Okay. And then this is the version most people never saw. This here.
Situation like this, I remember at Virginia Tech when I went out there, parents, loved ones.
Now you look at this. This is coming out, and I'm going to tell you what's happened. In my opinion, there's a producer that comes up, and they say, "Okay, so they give him instruction. He comes out. He knows his role. He knows and he's asking, "Are we ready?" He's looking for the producer, director. Are we ready? Are we good? Everything's good. And then he gets into character, which I've seen actors do thousands of times. It's just an opinion. This could be a trauma response, clearly, because obviously it happened, right?
Of slain young people wanted to remember their sons and
laughing, giggling, watch us.
Their daughters, and as a result, they spoke and made a statement. So we'll see if Robbie Parker, I assume he's going to come out to the microphones now and make a statement. Looks like the family is there.
You know, I'll tell you what's weird. Isn't it weird that all three of these videos just stop and it's like my computer does something and then it just starts back up? Isn't that weird? I mean, because we're recording right now, everything's moving, and it's like, that's a little weird. I don't know. But we got a smile. There's a little bit of this guy was just smiling. Now watch Mr. Parker here.
Looks like the family is there.
She's the producer. She came up to say something, give instruction.
Looks like the family is there, and they're getting ready to come to the microphone.
Laughing.
So we'll listen up.
So do we just start? I mean, you just want me to start? I mean, okay, hold on. Let me get in the character. Hold on.
To come to the microphone, so we'll listen up.
Okay. So my name's Robbie Parker.
Okay. One more thing I want to show you about these witches. Let's take a look at this here. This was a day ago as Pandora Magda was contacting Nathan's wife, convincing her to get a restraining order and committing Nathan into a psych ward. She and Sliz Moldovan were projecting it onto me publicly and tagging Owen. So these frothing witch, man-hating trolls, gargoyle-looking demonic witches, literally, not kidding, literally, ugly, demonic, gargoyle, vampiric witches that are man-haters. Not only do they wedge themselves into Nathan Stoltman's personal life, while for the prior month trying to get him to commit suicide, by Nathan's own statement, it's just they're insatiable. The demonic thirst is never quenched. So then they try to project that onto, I believe, Adam Camacho, right? While make suring that Owen Benjamin, who Adam Camacho's in a lawsuit with, is also a part of. And again, it literally makes no sense whatsoever to tag Owen Benjamin in this because he has literally nothing to do with this. This is just their little efforts, and this goes so much deeper than I'm willing to explain right now. Let's take a look at this. Check out Adam Camacho suing at Owen Benjamin. 527.25. Gamma Central. He latched on to Lift the Veil. Lift the Veil is back in the mental ward. Does that mean Adam's dox operation failed? Because Lift the Veil was unstable, Adam was convincing him to give up everyone's name and address whoever bought Nathan's merch. Gay ops is the I can see. It's always with them. Always gay shit, right? It's like Mushmouth Coco. Nathan, you've been a bad boy. You've been a bad boy, Nathan. The bad boy. The fuck are you, Mushmouth? Fucking drunk piece of shit. Who are you? You have no. See, this is the great equalizer with the internet. I've said this forever. To enable you for a phone to enable somebody to go live or broadcast or go onto the internet, they should have to take a breathalyzer test. I swear to God, I believe this. They should have to blow into their phone or something and make sure that they're not legally drunk. And they have to take a quick IQ test that changes every time they want to either go live or start making comments like this. And here's Sliz. And I'll go one further. He was one of the reasons that Nathan ended up back there again. Oh, while the whole fucking month you and your gaggle of witches and effeminate men are constantly hounding him, constantly harassing Nathan, constantly, trying to get in his head, then wedging yourself into his personal life. And I'll go one further. Hold on, let me get a quick snort. Hold on. He was one of the reasons that Nathan ended up. Was he? Okay. They were all behind the scenes texting and speaking with Nate. Like, you fucking know who Nate is. The fuck out of here, witch. Again, empowered to fuck with real people. The internet has empowered these nothings, demonic force, witch, old geriatric, vampiric bitches to fuck with people's real lives. And they target men. Unless you're an effeminate man like Hoax Wars or Coco or Eon Will or Johnny. Johnny, we know all about Johnny. Sweet. Owen. And they're all bitches. Like, when looking back now at all this shit, like Johnny could have sued Owen years ago, had a very, probable case. But looking through all the old shit, it's like, oh, you're going to pay. I don't want that. You're going to, and all these love letters, like these bitches write these love letters to Owen. I just want you to change. That's all I want, Daddy. Daddy, I just want you to be better. I just want you to be the man I know you can be, Daddy. If I was Amy, I would do this. I mean, well, I'm a man, but that's okay. I'm just saying if I was. Daddy, you're going to see everything I said. I tried to warn you, Owen. Everything I said came true. This is John, whatever his name is. At some point, again, they all say they hate Daddy. But it's not. They're scorned bitches. That's who these people are. Led by a covenant of witches, including a little effeminate troll named Hoax Wars. They were behind scenes texting and speaking with Nate to help him stop with the insane streams. Insane to who, you junkie bitch? You were on heroin in a fucking alley blowing dudes for 25 years. And then you find a LARPing fake Christian publisher who takes your journal and publishes it into a book. You monetize the 12-step programs. And then you go online after artificial intelligence goes over your entire LARP. you say is all lies. Take it up with AI. Can't even read these fucking nothings. Like, again, this just gives them the energy they want. Oh, looky, I'm the focus again. A man is focusing on me, except not in the way I'm used to for 25 years behind a dumpster. It's in a different way. Oh, a man is paying attention to me. My vampiric powers are coming true. I'm a junkie from the 60s. I'm blown out. I was a hippie. We know, Pandora. We know. We know all about it, don't we? It's a sorry-assed situation. Why are Adam and Alan so starved? Starved for what? Can't read this shit. It's fucking nothings, man. They don't, it just makes me sick. It just literally makes me sick. They hate men. They hate men. They're demonic witches. That's it. And I'm Covert Radio. I'm going to have a bunch of links, a lot of stuff. If you want to watch the full-length videos, and there's more, but I didn't want to make this much longer than 2 hours. You're not going to fuck with Nathan Stolpman. You're not going to hurt him, and you're not going to fucking gaggle up and force your demonic shit on him. At least without me saying something and observing it and going to bat for him. Because he's a great guy. He's smart. He's honest. He's intelligent. He's talented. And he's told more truth in one Sunday than you've told in 30 years of your miserable, junky, selfish existence. Or your drug-induced, lifelong, man-hating, fucking witch-chasing, demonic, satanic fucking existence. You pentagram-wearing witch. Right. Check the links in the description. If you want to support this type of media, become a Covert Radio Tribunal member. If you want to support the lawsuit against Owen Benjamin, the Give, Send, Go for Adam Camacho's lawsuit is in the description. And if you want to support Nathan, who's on hard times, and I'm personally, going to pitch in, which I'm not wealthy at all, but I can help a guy who might need, I don't have an issue at all with that. And I don't think you should either. Sometimes we're all up, sometimes we're down. Sometimes you're in the middle, sometimes you're okay. The guy needs a little bit of help from what I understand right now, financially. Okay? We all do, really. But if you want to support his level of journalism and he covers the news and keeps you up to breast on everything. That's one thing I say about Covert Radio, and people like us, really. We sift through the madness so you don't have to. That's what people like Nathan and I do. We sift through the maddening noise so you don't have to. And then we give an intelligent, discerning take. Support it. I'm Covert Radio. You guys take care. Have a good day.
There's a war out there, old friend. A world war. And it's not about who's got the most bullets. It's about who controls the information. What we see and hear, how we work, what we think. It's all about the information.
You want a war? You got a war. And there's no looking back. There's no forgetting. And there's no forgiving. I can see it all clearly now. The more we build, the more haters try to tear it down. The more we streets.